What's something that you've done while horny and you regret it? When I was a stupid teen, I put an ice cube in my vagina. My reasoning was that if hot water felt nice, maybe something extremely cold would. It did not feel nice, it was horrible, and I couldn't remove it. 3 minutes of agony. Using shampoo to jerk off. Worst piss pain ever. Me and my friend were supposed to take a visiting foreign professor for drinks. After a couple of beers the guy told us that he wanted to see some women. We took him to a soft-core strip club. After the first beer the guy said that he wanted something more extreme. Prostitution is legal in my country and we took the guy to probably the largest bar with sex workers of our city. It was a bizarre place and after few minutes our reputable visiting academic sealed the deal with a lady. The guy went with the lady to her room and came back after about 15 minutes. Suddenly the guy said that he was tired and wanted to head back to his hotel. On the ride back, the guy started weeping and telling us about his family and giving us advice about why we should love and respect our partners. I had never seen so much post-nut regret in my life. Sad guy. Almost got a bar of soap stuck in my booty hole. Edit. Wow, thanks for the awards guys. I can't believe my first comment to blow up is about the time I became a human soap dispenser. When I was about 12 to 13, I had just learned about sex. One day I was super horny and was playing with my dad's back massager. I quickly realized that it felt really good to press it on my duck. I took it into my bedroom and went to town. My mom was walking by and heard the noise so she just let herself in. Needless to say things were weird after that for a bit, and she hid the massager. Her name was Annie, and she stalked me for 2 years after that. Asked a escort to come over to my house at 2 a.m. instead of jerking off like ya know for free. Well, she and 3 other guys ended up kicking in my door and robbing me and my house. 0 tenths never again. Edit. Holy shit, thank you for the awards. This is my most popular comment by far. I appreciate you all. Was at bar, ran into the hot girl from high school. She was still hot. We hit it off, had fun for the night, gave her a ride home. I was super horny and thought this was gonna be amazing. She did not invite me inside, so I just went home sad but still horny. So proceeded to pull on the old cam dispenser. Had a great time, felt way better. As I was cleaning up she calls me and wants me to come over because she is lonely. I think, hey, I might still have some spunk left in my junk. I head over, we start getting frisky and I cannot make the soldier stand to attention. She crying thinking it's her fault. I tell her what happened and we try again, still can't get it to wake up. Between the alcohol and my balls empty he was just a limp noodle. She asked me to leave and felt like a pile of shit. Never did hear from her again. Sex with my ex, the same day I moved out. We had broken up earlier, but it took a couple of months before I managed to find a place to move all my stuff. Afterwards, I just laid there and hugged her hard, didn't want to let go. Just lay there in a cuddly mess for half an hour, covered in sweat and other bodily fluids, but most of all, tears. I don't know why the duck I did that to myself. It was supposed to make us both feel better and relieve stress, but it was just torture. I should have just left much earlier. Preferably when she wasn't at home. 5 years ago. Boss recruited someone new and introduced them via WhatsApp group before we met them. New recruit and I started chatting in WhatsApp before we ever met and I took it too far too fast. Went to meet him that night. I was deeply not attracted to him, and his home was horror story dirty and cluttered. I accepted his weak offer for alcohol and got drunk really fast to avoid facing reality. I felt too bad for him to leave, but I knew the alcohol would help me. Help him. The sex ended up being one of the best I ever had, to date, but he is such a gross person, hygiene and personality, I regret everything about the way it happened. Same year, swimming in self-hatred, I also ducked the boss of that job. 2 regrets for the price of 1. You're welcome. Jacked off in the shower while laying down in the tub, shower water raining down from above. It was very nice and ended nicely. Later that day, I went to take a shit. Shit wouldn't come out, and I felt an odd tugging sensation between my ass cheeks. Thought I was dying and started freaking out while I tried to pinch my shit off to investigate. Turns out my jazz had found its way into my ass cheeks while laying down in the tub, mingled with all my ass hair, and solidified into a gelatinous plaster. Upon shitting, the hair was so ducked together that my cheeks couldn't separate for the shit to emerge, felt like that Play-Doh hair salon toy. I ended up having such a massacre of shit cum on my ass and hands that I had to get back in the shower just to clean off. Edit. Apparently this officially counts as a self-cream pie. Tried to suck my own duck while taking a bath while with hips up. Surprise surprise, tubs are slippery and I ended up with my neck caught under my arm as I did a back roll and landed on my side. Involuntarily gasped in pain and began to choke on water. Almost drowned in my own ducking bathtub. My neck also hurt like hell for a week. Edit. No Jesus duck. Why didn't I post this on a throwaway _? Thanks for the awards, gonna drown my sorrows in karma. I came onto my best female friend. We'd flirted back and forth for years, so I didn't see the harm in asking. I was super blunt about my interest and she laughed the whole thing off. We talked less and less after that, and now I haven't spoken to her in 2 years. I regret ducking up the best friendship I've ever had to try to get my duck wet. It was so ducking stupid of me. I was edging for 3 hours. Had the idea that tying my duck with a shoelace would hold everything together for at least another hour. It held on for 2 and nutted so hard I felt some pain on my abdomen and legs. Took me an extra hour to sleep, and the next day my whole body was fatigued. Thought I twisted my testicle or some shit. I recovered after around 48 hours. Edit. Thank you for the awards. Also for context, I live alone and life got stuck in limbo when the pandemic ramped up. I edged from 8 p.m. to some time past 1 a.m. I had no regard for health, which explains my lack of hydration. So no, it wasn't drugs, I was just an idiot. I probably still am. No, it was never a good idea in the first place, that was sort of the point. Yes, it was the best nut of my life. In my early teen years, I accidentally made my clit burn using Vicks VapoRub that was supposed to give it a tingling sensation. I watched way too much BDSM and got ideas. I was in immense pain and was lying spread out under cold water to try and make it stop, and I couldn't tell my extremely religious parents or they would have freaked out. Asked my wife if she was interested in us getting a butt plug. She gave me a confused look and said, "If you're into it, sure." And then after purchasing realized that we both had different ideas on who it was for. Edit. Wow, I've never had a post get this much attention. So, this is one of the most mortifying things to ever happen to me. To anyone who didn't see my reply. I was intending the butt plug to be for her, because we'd done some light butt play before. But when I asked about it, she thought I wanted to use it. It's buried in a closet somewhere, still in its packaging. To this day I'm still too embarrassed to bring it up, and needless to say, she's not very interested in a butt plug. The worst part is, I picked out like a medium size, and thinking back, she was like, "Oh, okay. Go big or go home I guess, babe. Thanks for the awards y'all." Not me, but a friend. He drove to another city to lose his virginity. He was up all night with the girl, so he fell asleep on the ride home. Totaled his car. He told his parents he was staying at my house overnight. So it was awkward conversation when he had to call his parents to explain why he totaled his car about 100 miles from home. Edit. He actually did get laid. He said it wasn't worth it. Ducked my landlord. He lived in the same building on the floor below me with his ex-fiancée. It was actually pretty fun until he started monitoring when I was home and knocking on my door when he knew I was home alone. Had to put an end to that REAAAL quick. My only regret is not getting a discount on rent. Sad face. Enthusiastically went home with a guy who said he had a dog. He had 2. Found out from a friend the next time he had just gotten out of jail for homicide. You know those silicone-ass things they have in sex shops for like $300? When I was in Montreal in my sophomore year of college, I tried to buy one. My debit card got declined, so I didn't buy it. I got a call from my dad that evening saying someone in Montreal must have stole it from me, and I had to do the talk of shame explaining that I really did do that. Got jazz in my ear, ended up with an ear infection. Try explaining to a doctor what the foreign liquid is in your ear when you're 15. Hey guys, thank you for the awards and upvotes. For clarification, this happened in 1987 and was purely accidental. Drove 1,200 miles. Hooked up with a coworker who looked like Mr. Bean. She was a girl. Not my story, but my old band mates. So here we have a horny teenager. He was maybe 16 at the time and he just came out as gay this year. He had been experimenting and we were bros, so he would always overshare these experiences. Well, one day he tells me he had made a huge mistake. He really wanted to know what something, bigger than his fingers, felt like, and he had heard of people using cucumbers as dildos. That said, he only had pickles at home. He did not, however, account for the vinegar and spices. I don't know the pain he felt, but I do know he regretted it immediately. Edit. This is the most upvoted thing I've ever had on Reddit. For what it's worth, he played bass. Thanks guys. Using the twin percussion handheld backmassager on my duck. NGL, it felt really fucking good. But it left a lingering tender feeling that had me walking funny for a bit. Happened when I was but a wee mid-teen. IDK. Anytime I go on a porn binge and have post-nut clarity on some bizarre as shit. Edit. When you go online drunk. Then you wake up the next day to have seen it blow up. Thanks guys. Wait. Before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe, you sexy human.